Today, we're going to be talking about improving the tone of your voice. That could be an obstacle that's holding you back, that's making you lack the confidence to really want to speak. Sometimes when we hear a recording of our voice, that can be a little eye-opening and can be a little concerning. There could be a complaint about the overall sound of the voice, even in the moment while you're speaking. Hearing your voice could be something that doesn't give you a sense of confidence, and therefore it's something that you're sort of short-arming in most situations. Now, earlier we talked about some bad speech habits, things like utilizing filler words or possibly utilizing upspeak, speaking in a monotone, or speaking too quickly. Now, we will be touching on slowing down your rate of speech a little bit today in order to accomplish the results that I'm sure you want to begin to see. Most people don't like the sound of their voice. They disapprove of one aspect of it or another. Just so you know, there is some heredity involved in voices. So what we want to do is try to make the most out of your natural voice so that number one, you feel really comfortable and really relaxed when you're speaking. And number two, going back to sensation perception, you sound really relaxed, confident, and committed to your words. So let's take a look at what some of the top complaints are. Now, I am describing what these voices are in slightly technical terms, just so that you know where to focus, what to focus on in order to make an improvement. Many people complain that they have what we call a hypernasal voice. They often just say, my voice is too nasal. But a hypernasal voice is really only utilizing or relying on one of the three different resonating chambers in your voice. We're not going to get too technical here. We're just going to give you an overview, but I'm going to give you an example. If I limit the resonance in two of the chambers of my voice, two of the resonating areas, and just really focus it up in the nasal area, that's what we call a hypernasal voice. And it kind of sounds like this. Now, that sound is really piercing, which is good when you're projecting your voice. However, if you're not using the other resonating areas in your voice, it can be harsh. So that may be what you have determined to be a nasal voice. However, there is a less common but an opposite end of the spectrum voice, which is the hypo nasal voice. And it'll give you a good example of not utilizing one or more of your resonating areas of your voice. And that is to cut off the nasal resonance and just kind of talk like this. This way your voice sounds very low and you're not getting any nasal resonance. It's almost like when you're speaking like you have a cold, because when your nose is stuffed up, you're not getting that nasal resonance anymore. Now you know what those two voices sound like. Hyper and hypo. Many people complain that their voice is too high or their voice is too low. Often this is tethered to the perception of speaking in either a high or low voice based on gender. Now, if you think your voice is too high and you want to lower your voice, it really is a matter of utilizing the same things to be able to take a low voice to become a higher voice. Very often, these habits, these patterns of speech, which have an effect on tone, are due to speaking too quickly. This is something that I see in increasing numbers year after year after year, which is speaking too quickly and not really giving yourself a chance. What you want to be able to do in order to massage the voice, make it feel more relaxed, is to focus on the vowel sounds. Anything that has a longer, well-supported tone, you're going to be using more of the resonance of your mouth. And I realize that this is going to be an ongoing challenge. Slowly but surely, you will begin to change the tone of your voice, but only if you're able to follow these basic patterns. The first thing that you need to do is to recognize long and short vowels. We are just going to focus on the larger vowel sounds. Large meaning long, short, of course, meaning small. So the large vowel sounds require more vowel space in your mouth. Hence the connection to speaking a little bit slower, giving these vowels a little bit more time to resonate. It will improve the tone of your voice. Obviously, if you're giving more time to these sounds, it will slow down your voice. So you will speak at a more measured pace. Now, this may feel very unnatural. In fact, I can almost guarantee when you first start to do the work that it will feel very unnatural. We're only going to focus on the long vowels that are also lower vowels in your resonating space. So let's just look at the four major lower elongated vowels. And you'll see as you say just the vowels followed by the word, you'll understand what I mean. Let's begin left to right. The first one is ah. Say the sound. Ah. Ah as in tan. Tan. Now, if you're accustomed to saying the word tan, speaking too quickly, you're really not giving it enough vowel space. And I do want you to be very, very deliberate, very, very slow while you are doing this practice work. Don't worry about it. You're not going to have time to think about it in your everyday communications, but it will begin to take place. It will begin to immerse and integrate into the way that you're speaking. Again, ah, as in tan. Then we have ah, as in mom. I want you to feel what that is. Recognize that that is a large, what I call a large, long vowel. The next one, aw, as in saw. Now, if you shortchange that vowel space, it changes the sound. Notice how much more nasal it sounds rather than it being saw, aw, aw. If I squeeze it too much and not recognize its vowel space, it becomes saw, saw, saw. It becomes very short. The last one that I want you to focus on of the singular lower elongated vowels is the O sound. Go, go. So in practicing this, what I want you to do is take each one of the words, each one of the as in words, and I want you to rhyme 3 more words with that word. Okay? So if you go tan, man, pan, ban, and I want you to get used to that ah sound and use your breath. Your breath is the support that will allow this vowel space to expand. Do the same for all of these as in words, and you'll begin to increase your recognition of vowel space. There are quite a few large vowels in American English, and not to get too technical, but there are some diphthongs, which are combinations of 2 vowels, words like now, or pie, or toy. And you can see those are long vowels. I want you to do the same thing with each of those 3 words, is say the word and then say 3 words of your choice that rhyme. So you get used to the recognition of hitting that large vowel sound. Then there are also triphthongs. These are combinations of vowel sounds. Words like hour, buyer, lawyer. Notice they all do end in an R. And that's interesting because the R sound in the phonetics world is actually considered to be a vowel. Again, I don't want to get too technical. I just want to increase your recognition. Do the same in practice. Take those triphthongs, which are really long vowels, and come up with 3 words that rhyme with that word. If you're at a loss for words, just repeat the word 3 times. I don't want this to be too difficult. Okay, so remember, this is a matter of becoming aware of vowel recognition. And I realize you're probably thinking, okay, this is definitely not going to be something I'll be able to remember while I'm speaking. So I just want to reiterate, this is how you practice. Allow the daily practice to slowly integrate its way into your everyday speech. And it will. Remember, do these exercises as I'm telling you, and you will begin to increase the tone of your voice, begin to utilize more resonating areas in your natural voice. Let's integrate this into a couple of sentences now. Once you're done doing singular words, now we'll start to string together sentences. Some of the words have long vowels, low, elongated vowels, and some of them, of course, some of the vowels that we speak are very short and clipped, and those are fine. Don't try to make any of the short vowels long, but also don't mistakenly make the long vowels short. You're shortchanging your natural voice, that natural resonance that makes it sound like you're really committed to the words that you're saying. You're really at ease with the things that you're talking about. All of this is going to require that you have good breath support. So don't forget, when we speak these sentences, you need to take a good deliberate breath so you have enough breath support to be able to fill in the new vowel space that you're recognizing and creating. So here are a few sentences that I'd like you to practice with. Let's look at the first one. Simply take a deep breath and say for me, "That's not what I need to hear." Then take a closer look at this sentence. You'll see that I've underlined words that actually have a large vowel within them. The first one is the ah sound of that's. The next word that's underlined has the ah sound of not. Then we have a diphthong, which is the word I. It's a combination of ah and e. So that's often a word, that particular word, I, is one that people mistakenly think is a short vowel. I, 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 I. The great thing about noticing, recognizing these vowels is you're actually giving your body, your vocal apparatus, permission to relax. You are increasing the resonating chamber. So you're allowing that warmer tone to come through. You want to have the kind of voice that people like to listen to over the phone or during a Zoom call. Take a nice breath, hold it. Let's speak that sentence again with recognition of large vowels. That's not what I need to hear. Okay, good, good. Recognizing that, speaking slowly, using that breath to create the vowel space will improve your tone. Let's move on to the next sentence. How could you possibly believe that? Now notice we have a large vowel in the word how. The words right after it, could and you, even though could is short, you is long, but it's not a low vowel. I don't want to give you too much to focus on. I'm just going to focus on the low ones that do expand resonating area. The next word with a large vowel is the word possibly. And then we have the word, the last word of the sentence called that. Let's try that sentence again with vowel recognition. How could you possibly believe that? Good. Let's move on to the next sentence, noticing that we have underlined words with large vowels. Let's see if your recognition kicks in. Take a deep breath and say, Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Now, it's interesting, small connecting words like and, by, or, those are big vowel words, even though they are what we call connecting words and not as important as the other words that are spoken around them. However, they do have large vowels, so recognize that. Try that sentence one more time. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good. The next sentence, take a deep breath, hold it, and speak. What factors are driving this trend? Notice we have the ah sound in factors, the r sound in r, and the I sound in driving. Big vowels. Moving on to the next sentence. I will ask the members of the board tomorrow. Ah, I ask board tomorrow. Big vowels need a big breath. So now you're beginning to see how important all of this is. Let's do the last sentence with large vowel recognition. How do you hire loyal employees? Again, speaking this slowly is great for practice. Slowly but surely, you will begin to see this creep its way into your everyday communications. All right, so there you have it. The way to increase tone, to improve the overall resonance of your voice, as well as improving the rate of your speech and just the overall flow is great. All of this is meant not to be something else for you to remember. It's for something for you to practice on a daily basis so it slowly makes its way into the sound of your voice. It will cause you to relax your vocal apparatus even more. Very often, the various constraints that we hear on voices is because of tension in your vocal apparatus. This lesson is meant to show you a path to the relaxation that you can embrace to improve the tone of your voice.